My name is Harry. I'm from London.
Meghan Markle here. And I think this is the last one that I have regarding the leftover. Oh, no. So that's the one that I switched. So from this point on, I think this will be a new video. This has nothing to do. I have 3 more left that have nothing to do with the royal family. Okay, the family annihilator. All right, 2 minutes and 11 seconds.
One of the most dangerous places for white people is within a white family. You see this man right here? He's one of the many white men that would be considered a family annihilator. A family annihilator is an individual, usually a white male, that takes the life of multiple members of their family. By the way, everyone in this photo is no longer here. These family annihilators usually have a history of domestic violence or some form of abuse within their family. By the way, everyone in this photo is no longer here. There have been many studies on the profile of these family annihilators. Some of the common characteristics of these family annihilators is that they are overwhelmingly male, little to no criminal history, and white. By the way, everyone in this photo is no longer here. Psychologists say the main motivation for these family annihilators is a high sense of self-righteousness. By the way, everyone in this photo is no longer here. If we're going to talk about black-on-black crime and violence, then we would be remiss if we did not talk about white-on-white violence and crime. By the way, everyone in this photo is no longer here. To the Caucasian community out there, the call is coming from inside the house, literally. And instead of focusing so much on blacks and Hispanics and the problems that we have within our families and communities, it would behoove you to police your own community and keep a watchful eye over your own families. By the way, everyone in this photo is no longer here. Everyone in this photo is no longer here. Every last one of them in this photo is no longer here. These are Asian children that were adopted by this white couple, and everyone in this photo no longer here. This photo as well, this entire family, gone. And I could keep going, but I think you get the point.
Something just happened in Florida, I think, where this guy who murdered the wife. I don't know the full story, but the stepdaughter, I think, is in critical condition, and the guy who pulled the trigger commit suicide. Before he commit suicide, I think he called a member of the family to let them know that he did something horrible, and then later the police find out that he commit suicide. All right, white people again, father in the home. Multiple murders include family annihilators, account for less than 1% of murder in the U.S. But they just don't report it. Okay, when the people who's holding the books, who let things out in terms of what they report and what they don't report, so they want to portray themselves as the greatest of human being. So when things that is negative, that that is happening within their race, they will not make it public. Just look at how the royal family operate. For them, everything on the papers is always positive. My God, these people are ridiculous. Let me pause for a second. Let's go to the next tweet. Anyway, let's pause this. Okay, this was a very interesting story. I don't know if I shared it already, on another video, but I came across it again, so I decided to put it on the list. Breaking: 62-year-old man married 16-year-old girl in Alabama with her parents' permission, then arrested for rape after moving to Tennessee and living as husband and wife. This is someone that could be her grandparent. Oh my Lord.
Disturbing story out of Pulaski in Giles County tonight, where a 62-year-old man is arrested and charged with aggravated statutory rape involving a 16-year-old girl.
Andy Cordan has been investigating. He joins us now with the details. Andy.
Hey there, ladies. You know, according to investigators, Michael Holly married the 16-year-old in Alabama with her parents' permission. Now, that might be legal in the Yellowhammer State, but it's become a very serious sex crime here in Tennessee. This is the scene on K Drive in Pulaski this past Thursday. It's here after a 2-month-long investigation that Pulaski police take 62-year-old Michael D. Holly into custody.
We had some complaints from some concerned citizens about this individual and this relationship.
According to investigators, Michael Holly is a grandfather who met his 16-year-old bride at a local musical venue. So the 16-year-old you allege was here in Tennessee and living with him at his house?
Yes, sir.
And the 16-year-old's parents condoned this?
As far as I know, yes, sir, they were.
Investigators tell me they began receiving concerned tips from the public after Holly married the 16-year-old girl in Alabama, where the standard legal age to marry someone is 18. But exceptions can be made with parental consent. Do they look at any kind of repercussions, the parents of the 16-year-old girl, for authorizing this or condoning this?
That's something I'm going to be speaking with the district attorney about, and we're going to still be looking into.
While the union may not be illegal in Alabama, detectives say the minute Michael Holly and his teenage bride began living together as man and wife in Giles County, he was committing a serious felony.
Different states have different laws, and here in Tennessee, you cannot have a sexual relationship with a juvenile with that type of age gap.
Detective Jordan Ramsey has spoken to all parties involved. While she will not disclose investigative details, she tells me neither Mr. Holly nor the girl's parents agree with the charges. Did he say anything? Like, I'm sorry, or did he say anything?
Like I said, we had a lengthy interview with him. I think he doesn't really understand all what he's done.
Did the parents of this girl say anything?
I did interview both of them. They are more concerned with the relationship of him and her and why he's in trouble.
Oh, they're questioning why he's even in trouble?
Correct.
Oh my God.
And Mr. Holly was arrested and posted a $250,000 bond. Now I'm told the girl is currently living back with her parents.
Oh my God, they sent her back to those parents. This is sad. She's not safe with them. Oh my God, it's like she doesn't have possession of her own body. I didn't go to the comment section. Next tweet. So this one I saw, I do not know if it is true because there's been so many AI videos. I do not know if this is true, okay? Trust me, this is worth a quick watch. They absolutely nailed it. All right, 100% truth, no lie told here. All right, let's see. Maybe it's some comedy thing here.
Donald Trump, you have let the entire American public down because you are a Bubba blowing, Katie Johnson raping, E. Jean Carroll raping, genital grabbing, porn star wife cheating, teenage dressing room peeping, Ghislaine Maxwell helping, Obamacare ending, ICE Gestapo wielding, Venezuelan warmongering, SNAP benefits denying, George Santos pardoning, pathological lying, disability mocking, childish name calling, immigrant hating, bone spurs draft dodging, East Wing destroying, Putin boot licking, pro-fascist, Fox News lackey hiring, city army invading, crypto billionaire pardoning, Biden blaming, pardon selling, climate change denying, election denying, January 6th inciting, justice undermining, school lunch hating, classified documents stealing, crypto coins scamming, conspiracy theory spreading, grocery prices raising, farm are bankrupting, inflation raising, criminal friends pardoning, healthcare concept of a plan, corrupt, convicted felon. You are an international disgrace that should never have been allowed to be our leader.
Some rappers should put bid on it. There's that here. Someone needs to do that for real. It would be epic. That was really good. It was perfection. But is this real though? Anybody asking Brooke? Oh my goodness. What is that here? This is extra.
We're in a hell of a lot of trouble. Us, America, but the world is in a hell of a lot of trouble because the most powerful man in the world is both evil and demented. He has the most severe personality disorder, actually, that a human being can have. It's called malignant narcissism. It was originally introduced by Erich Fromm, who escaped the Nazis, to explain the psychology of Hitler and other murderous dictators like him. It's actually not in the DSM. It's kind of a historically obscure diagnosis, but I happen to have studied with the person who was the world expert on malignant narcissism. And so early on, when Trump was running for president in 2015, I recognized that this was essentially a meteor heading towards Earth, because I knew just how destructive a malignant narcissistic leader can be to a country. And I saw it as potentially fatal to our country. And unfortunately, that seems to be potentially coming true. It has four components: narcissism, of course, but also psychopathy, or what we call antisocial personality disorder. So lying, breaking laws and norms, having no remorse for violating the rights of others. Also paranoia, and finally sadism. A lot of what he does is gleefully destructive and harmful. And it actually gives him enormous pleasure to hurt people and to destroy things.
You know, to tell you the truth,
We're in a hell
let
of a
me
lot of
pause.
trouble.
Trump kind of thing sort of got into my periphery. I knew he was there as a business person in the US with the TV show, what was it, Apprentice. But one of the things that caught my attention was the thing he had with Rosie O'Donnell. At the beginning, I started laughing about it. Then he went on and on. It got a little bit too personal. I was like, no, that can't be. Okay, then I left it alone. You know, I didn't take him too serious. Then there was something that happened. I don't know, it crossed my mind, and I was like, how come I never hear anything about his daughter? Not daughter, his kids. You never hear anything about his kids on the news and things like that. So I used to think of him at a higher standard because you never hear anything about his family. But little did I know, you know, the cash in and kill kind of thing was his way of, for people not knowing. Okay, that was way before he became president. These are things I used to ask myself when certain things popped up. And then when things started to get me, okay, with the birtherism, with President Obama, that caught my attention, and I was very upset about that, and I put that aside, not knowing he was going to run for president, but I put that aside. Then when he started running for president, the thing that really stuck with me was that when they were asking for his medical information, I think his personal doctor said something that there's a group of people who came to his office and took all those files. And the doctor didn't really say anything. And that's when the light bulb come up with me and said, why the doctor is not being, you know, they went in his office and took his personal file. Even though it has to do with Trump, but still, that's his documentation of, you know, if he needs to back up his claim, that will be those files. But they took it and they just went. So I always said the doctor knew something, not about his medical thing, about who he actually is. Because the way he was talking about it on TV, he just let it fly like it's not a big deal. That stuck with me. And the other thing, going back before he became president, one thing that stuck with me as well was in one of his buildings that he was either renovating or whatever. And that particular structure was landmark. And what he did was destroy that particular landmark because he did not want to. I don't know why he did that, but I will assume it's because he did not want to follow the rule of law to preserve the historical significance of that particular structure. So he destroyed. So that stuck with me as well. But then again, I let it slide. But these are little things, you put a post-it on it to come back to it. So these kind of things stuck with me. Then when he became president, obviously I didn't vote for him, but for the second time when people start, when he was trying to run for the second time and he won, and I'm like, we seen his presidency before. I don't understand why people are voted for him. The other thing that stuck with me as well was is it Michael Cohen or something like that? There was a CNN interview that he did. Michael Cohen was on CNN defending him. The way he was talking, defending Trump, I was like, what the hell is wrong with him? I used to despise Michael Cohen. But when he realized, because he's one of those people who knew Trump very well, because I think at that time Michael Cohen was his his lawyer. But when he went on CNN to defend him, it questioned me as well. The way Michael Cohen was talking, I despise Michael Cohen. But later on, Michael Cohen got into his own trouble and he testified in Congress. He's like completely 180. But anyway, so these are the things I was aware of Trump, or things that, question, things that I used to question myself about Trump, who he actually was. Not knowing, because things were not being reported because he had control of that. And other things about his son, at that time, they were not in big trouble or really into politics. Donald Trump Jr., I believe it was him who was on TV saying he did business with Russians. It was not a secret. But anyway, the whole purpose of me bringing these things that I've been thinking or seeing, but then really take them serious, is that there have been enough information for voters or American voters to go by of who Donald Trump was. So everything that we see him doing is the same behavior that he's been, at least the little snapshot of things that were reported that I was aware of. So if I'm aware of it, I'm not personally friend with Donald Trump or the family, okay? But it was reported, so which means anybody could have seen the same thing. But the problem that the U.S. is going through, it's its own self-inflicted, due to a good portion of American who not only racist, this is the top thing that pretty much bringing down America, but the people refuse to, I will not say refuse, but they took their race as the priority instead of the country as a whole. So I'm pretty sure you guys have probably seen videos of a lot of white Americans are crying left and right, because now they are feeling the full effect of their choice of the 2024 election. Don't get me wrong, African Americans are feeling it as well, but because our brain have been always in working mode on how to survive, so we know how to do this type of survival kind of thing, unlike white American who never had to their brain don't, how will I put it, their brain haven't been working to survive because the system was laid out for them like a red carpet for them to walk through. All right, I think I raised that once before, this type of talking point, when I was talking about the difference between African American and Black Brits, because the way the UK sort of run its racism, it's a little bit subtle, they don't put that same kind of barriers, physical barriers, like America does to Black Americans. So even though they don't do the same type of barrier, but they control every form of where decision making is. So they will always control whether you get through the door. So Black Brits then have to fight the same way African American have been fighting, because African American have been physically hurting, being hurt by, the system. Unlike the system in the UK, you guys could correct me. I never been to the UK, but based on what I'm seeing, learning after studying, looking into Harry and Meghan, what I have been seeing is that they do almost the same thing, but it's not physical. So many Black Brits don't have a reason to fight them the same way African American had to fight. Okay? Yes, you could probably go to school, but your education will limit you whether or not you will get to a door, okay, to a certain position, because all the elites people, they are placeholders. All right, they will not let you in. Look at perfect example. Look what they did to Meghan. All right, so let's get back to the original recording. I just had to add this. All right, and if you live in the UK, hey, feel free to correct me. This, what I'm saying, is BS. Is not the way the UK works. But from what I'm seeing, a lot of Black Brits don't really hold high position where decision making is being made. Yes, they'll give you a award, those alphabet awards and things like that. But what I see with those awards is if it's like a club, or what you could do for them. Okay, they give you the award, and when they need you to do something, then you have to do it for them. I don't know if you have to, but it's a way of saying, look, I give you this award, you scratch my back, I'll scratch your back. But when it comes to decision making, where rule of law, well, there's parliament and things like that, but other things, look at IPSO. Are there any Black Brits hold in possession of IPSO? They probably do, but the number of Black Brits in comparison to white Brits, it probably is very small. The only reason I'm using IPSO, because it's not where people have to, let's say the population have to vote for you to hold office, similar to MP or something like that, because this is selective. From my understanding, it is selective position. So they're not gonna give a Black person in the UK to hold a position of decision making. They will use whatever title, aristocracy title person, or maybe a white person, pretty much, to hold it, because they know the assignment. When certain things come to their office, they know to turn a blind eye if it's one of their buddies. Okay? So, yeah, that's what I mean. All right, so let's get back to the original recording. Let me finish with this video. Let me go to my last one. So now there we are. He's destroying the country. All right, let's listen to this. I forgot what this was about. They hated this one, and that's why it matters. I'm counting down my top 10 videos from 2025. Coming in at number 8 is this one that led to an outpouring of hate. Alright, was it Joe Bevel? Alright, there's no comment. Let's listen to him.
Every year, I post a video like this from AMEC, the annual medical education conference, where Black and brown pre-med and medical students gather to connect, learn, and build the future of medicine. And every year, without fail, the racist comments roll in. Lower standards, drug dealers, affirmative action. Are they even qualified? Comments proving that when excellence doesn't look like what you're used to, you assume it's a mistake. So let's talk about it. My name's Dr. Archewell, the medical mythbuster, and let's talk about representation in medicine. First thing I should start with is that every doctor, no matter where they go to medical school, has to take the same Step 1 exam, Step 2 exam, and eventually their board exams. Quality is not lowered for any doctor, and if you made that assumption based on someone's skin color, then hint, you're racist. It's important to also understand history. In the United States, Black Americans make up 13% of the population, but less than 6% of doctors. And that's intentional. It stretches back to 1910, when a report by Abraham Flexner led to the shutdown of 5 of the 7 medical schools that trained Black physicians at the time. That one report decimated the pipeline of Black physicians, because the number one indicator that you become a doctor is having a parent that's a doctor. It wasn't until half a century later, with the Civil Rights Act of 1964, that Black medical students were able to attend previously segregated medical schools. And here's the thing, representation in medicine matters beyond just face value, it's life-saving. Black patients continue to be less likely to be diagnosed accurately, less likely to be believed about their pain, more likely to die from preventable conditions. But studies like this one show that increased representation of Black physicians in a county increase life expectancy and medical adherence in that county. And it doesn't stop there. We can talk about something called the GFR equation. GFR measures kidney function, essentially how well your kidneys work to filter out toxins. But for a long time, there's a racial correction to the GFR equation. That multiplier assumes that all Black patients had better kidney functioning than any other race. Spoiler alert, we don't. That race adjustment delayed access to care and kidney transplants for tens of thousands of Black patients across the United States. It took Black medical students, residents, and doctors to recognize that problem and fix it. Or we can talk about spirometry, a test that measures how much air we can breathe out in one breath. Lung function tests for a long time assumed that Black and Asian patients had lower lung function than any other race. It was based on racist 19th century assumptions, not biology. That's not medicine. That's systemic racism that's built into our tools that we use today. When it comes to clinical trials, Black people, women, and other minoritized groups are still less likely to be included. That means many of the drugs that we take and the treatments that we trust are tested only on white, able-bodied males, despite there being research that shows, for example, that heart attacks present differently in women than men. That's why representation in medicine matters, why AMEC matters. We're not just here to diversify medicine, we're here to decolonize it, to call out what's broken and to fix it, to rebuild it safer and smarter for everyone.
Okay, wow. Couple things came to mind. In my husband's side of the family, there's one doctor. On my side of the family, there are 2 doctors. My husband's mom would love for one of my kids or one of her grandkids to be a doctor, but it doesn't seem like, from my side, it doesn't seem that's gonna happen. My kids are not into it. If it does, that'll be great. The other thing that came to mind is not too long ago I was thinking how the behavior, this is where my senses are coming into, I question things. I've seen some videos where white Americans are upset now that they're finding out that Jesus is Black. Many of them are saying, oh, now I'm not going to be praying to Black Jesus and all of that. It doesn't matter how you feel. Whatever the higher being is, or whoever the higher being is, will always be. If you were praying to the right within your human core, you were praying to the higher power, it will not matter to you if it's white or Black. This is where my senses come. And I'm thinking, and many times I've told you guys, even though sometimes I do prayers, I Google prayers, I said, I do not know the Bible. Okay, it's not like I'm against it or anything. I just never had the urge to read the Bible. Okay, but I am very religious to my core. When I look at historical facts or things that been presented to me, where Jesus was, they put the crown of thorn on Jesus' head before they crucified him on a cross. Okay, let's take that picture for perspective. Okay, a crown of thorn that will hurt his head, and then they crucified him on the cross. And I'm thinking, at my time, even before when white people were being brutalizing, hurting African American. If I were to take that same picture, okay, of Jesus with a thorn on his head and crucify him on the cross, which group that seems to be carrying out that same barbaric type of behavior? White American, when they hung black people, I'm thinking of being crucified on the cross, they hung black people. They, for no reason, whatever inner hate that they have whenever they see a black person, it like their hate just come out. So the same behavior of what they did to Jesus is the same behavior they're carrying out to black people. So when you think about it, during Jesus' time, white people will be doing the same. We're the one who were doing the things to Jesus as a black person, and their offspring carrying out the same behavior on black people at my time. That's just my sense that was, I was thinking about it. Even if I didn't know the Bible, or I didn't know any verses, or I didn't know anything. But looking at that picture alone of Jesus being crucified on the cross, and then you have black people at my time being hung. In 2025, there have been a lot of people who have been hung. They just don't report it. Let me search on Google. What's the term they use? Lynching. Okay, I'm gonna ask Google that. Alright, so it didn't really respond yes or no, but there's some articles that making reference to that. The question I asked Google: have there been any lynching in 2025? Okay, NPR. Hanging death of a student in Mississippi is official rule. Okay, the body of a 21-year-old Trey Reed was found hanging from a tree on campus Monday morning. Okay, so there have been a lot of these things happening. These are the same group of people who's carrying the same behavior that they did to Jesus on black people. Okay, there's another one here. Delta State hanging death rises, dread of past lynching. November 4th, 2025. This article was written this year. There were at least 581 lynchings in Mississippi from 1882 through 1968, the most of any state according to the NAACP. Alright, so you could search that on how do you call this, on Google. Let me change the word lynching. Let's put hanging. Hanging of black people. Okay, I was looking for a yes or no. Let's go on ChatGPT. Copy the same. Let me pause. Okay, let's paste the same question. Okay. Here's what reliable report on an investigation shows so far for 2025 regarding death by hanging involved black people in the United States. Alright, so there's some of this. Alright, so, but pretty much the whole point for bringing that is that these people who refuse to accept the fact that Jesus was black, and they claim that they're not going to be praying for a black Jesus, it doesn't matter if the higher being is black or white or whatever color it may be. But the thing that most people, human beings, should be focusing on is the higher being. Okay, but knowing that the truth is coming out, many of them are rejecting that Jesus is black. So which means they never really praying toward the true God in the first place. And then to back this up, when I say about Jesus being crucified on the cross, the kind of treatment that they gave Jesus during Jesus' time to our time, they're still carrying the same behavior. Okay, so that's my crazy thinking, using my senses to just, put one and one together, even if you didn't know. Okay, if anybody did not know that Jesus was black, just from this perspective alone. Okay, their behavior never changed. They continue doing the same evil type of behavior toward black people. Alright, so when I was looking at this young man, he looks like someone who's probably the most 17. And you could see he work out, even though you don't he doesn't show his body that much, but when you look at his arm and chest, you could see this is someone who work out. He takes good care of himself from the outside. But anyway, that is it. Please take a moment to subscribe, like, and share. If you want to support this channel, there's a PayPal link and a Cash App link in the description. You could donate. Those who have donated, thank you. This recording gonna have 3 parts. The first part is gonna be on RP Team Sussex. The second part, which has to do with Meghan, one of the squaddies who did a review of Meghan. She left a lot out, but I'll be sharing it on PYTE. That will be the second part. And that part about the MAGAs and the doctor that I just showed you will be over here again. So one recording gonna divide it into 3 parts. So check them out, okay? Thank you for watching.
It is a great privilege to be with all of you today.
You know, we ask for forgiveness and please come back.
Find the love and happiness that I'd hoped for all my life. You are all in this together, and if I may speak personally, we are all in this together, because asking for help was one of the best decisions that I ever made. You will be continually amazed how life changes for the better.